Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am from France and I am working on GMO and pesticide toxicity. I'm a professor of molecular biology in the University of Caen, and I've been an expert for the French government in the official commissions to assess GMOs for 9 years, and also for the European Union in the WTO conflict with the states Argentina and also against Canada on the labeling of GMOs, because you know that 150 countries have labeled GMOs all over the world, at least at the borders, and then only the states do not want really to sign this. So I am working also as a researcher for pesticides analysis of their long-term effects, and we have demonstrated that the Roundup Ready was it's an herbicide, the major herbicide in the world, used on 75% of the commercialized and cultivated GMOs, such as Roundup Ready soya or Roundup Ready maize, and we have demonstrated that this Roundup was able to kill human cells at very, very low doses, 100,000 dilutions, and these dilutions are able to suicide the cells. So that means that the cells see that the embryonic, we have demonstrated that on embryonic, placental, and also on umbilical cord cells of humans, and they suicide themselves as soon as they see very low levels of Roundup. What does that mean, very low levels? Up to 100,000 dilutions of the product that is on the shelf and that the agricultural worker is working with in order to spread that on Roundup Ready soya. And there are even 10 to 40 more residues in the Roundup Ready soya that what we have tested. So the mechanism of action is very well understood, and we have seen similar effects in Italian studies demonstrating that there were disruptions of cell organization of the nucleus and of the DNA, the hereditary patrimony, when mice were eating Roundup Ready soya. And we think that that could come from the Roundup Ready residues. In fact, these residues are able maybe to explain why in Canadian workers with glyphosate-based herbicides like Roundup, there was more chances to have abortions or to have short pregnancy and pregnancy problems in general. This was demonstrated by Savitz and collaborators in Canada a while ago. So we have all the explanations now. So we have asked to the government, because I was also expert for the European countries, in order to reassess biotechnologies in 2008. This was requested by the Council of Ministers of Environment of 27 countries in Europe. So we asked, what are the tests that are done to demonstrate that either the Roundup Ready or the Roundup Ready soya, so that means either the herbicide or the GM soya, was safe. And we were horrified, because we discovered that they are only tested for a few months for the GM soy on mammals, and that the blood analysis of the mammals are even kept secret or confidential by the companies, and the government do not request advertising on the blood analysis. So you imagine that we are in the Middle Ages, because not only all the governments of the world authorize GMO without asking more than 3 months tests on the mammals and with blood analysis, and this is crazy, because of course babies, elderly people and adults and also patients or healthy people are exposed to that during their entire life. And then these blood analyses are kept secret, and there was an appeal court case in Germany to show for one GM, a BT maize, the data, and this showed that there were side effects. And people from Monsanto say that they didn't take into account these side effects because, in fact, it was not exactly the same in males and females, and it was not proportional to the 2 doses. So that's one scandal. And the other scandal is that Roundup already, the major herbicide in the world, is not tested on the long term on rats, for instance, before giving that to agricultural workers to spread on food and feed, because only glyphosate is tested. Or maybe you know that glyphosate itself, the active principle of Roundup, is not herbicide by itself. It needs detergents, it needs adjuvants, it needs other products inside the bottle in order to be really active. And this also confers some toxicity and some problems to this product, like we have seen on human cells. So now the story is very clear to us. So first, there is a risk with GM about the pesticide residues that are contained. And these pesticide residues, when they are spread on the field and used by the agricultural workers, may have some effects on embryos, on human ones, not only on tadpoles or not only in the wildlife, but also on human embryos, human placenta, and human umbilical cord. So that means that problems for the entire life could be seen in the babies that have residues of these products at very, very low levels. And then it's crazy that we are not able to ask for more tests for GM that contain these residues. And there can be also some genetic problems with this GM due to the fact that the network of genes is completely disrupted by the technology itself. This is normal for a lot of researchers, but this is not tested pretty well with only 3 months tests. So we are first asking for transparency. This is very important. Ask to your government, ask to the companies, if you can, what are the tests done and what are the results. And if they are confidential, then we cannot trust them together. And the second thing is that we ask for more research. We ask for more than 3 months research. That this is really ridiculous, 3 months in the 21st century, in order to know that if you can give that food and feed and Roundup to people for years. So we ask for more tests, and until that is not done, we have a moratorium in France on the last GMO that was cultivated, and we have mostly a moratorium in Europe, since everybody should know that only 0.05% of the cultures in Europe are GM, and in the rest of the world there are only 4% of the edible GM that are cultivated. So really it's an American thing, and these cultures should be assessed pretty much for the future of humankind. Thank you.